I forgot how gay this is.
So gay. I forgot how gay this was.
Okay, you guys, so we had to go back and rewatch the original Top Gun from 1986, which I've seen about 1,000 times, but it had been a little while. So wanted to rewatch that with Top Gun Maverick coming out this week. You have seen it. Clearly, you know what it's about. But Alonso, will you give us a brief refresher on the original Top Gun?
I'm going to send you up against the best. Yes, sir. You two characters are going to Top Gun. I feel the need for speed.
Sure. So Maverick and Goose are a pair of hotshot pilots, and they are always, getting into trouble for their wild, Maverick ways. And when the guy who is the top of their squadron decides to has kind of a midair freak out and decides he wants to go home and take care of his kid, they move up to top of their group, and they get sent off to Top Gun, which is the very elite, best of the best, pilot training school that happens in San Diego. And you basically want to be the top of the class, and Maverick thinks that he's gonna be, but he has to contend with Iceman, who is a cool customer and a better pilot, ? Maverick has a relationship with Charlie, who is a PhD in astrophysics and a teacher at Top Gun. She is fascinated because he's one of the few people who's had an up-close encounter with a MiG. And as the two of them begin a relationship, he then goes off in a training exercise in which, through no fault of his own, in an accident, Goose is killed, and he is shaken. He doesn't think he can fly anymore, but then he graduates, and immediately they're all called into action, and he goes back into the field with a new radio guy played by Tim Robbins. So forgotten.
Funny.
And they beat the Ruskies and save the day, and hooray.
Yeah. I forgot how gay this is.
So gay. I forgot how gay this was. I remember the beach volleyball and the locker room stuff, but I'd forgotten about the guy early on who they're looking at some intel or something, and he goes, "This gives me a hard on," and his radio guy says, "Don't tease." I'm like, what?
Right.
What movie? Come on.
Yeah. No, there's so many lingering, smoldering looks, and what's the line you like where it's like you can't tell if they're gonna beat each other up or make out with each other?
Basically, yeah. Are they gonna fight or make out?
It's a lot of that.
I can't remember if this is from that famous Tarantino monologue or somebody else pointed it out, but even Kelly McGillis, when she really wants to seal the deal with Tom Cruise, dresses in a flight jacket and pants and a cap, she almost sort of butches it up in a way to be more masculine, even though she's still got a nice red lip. We forgot to mention this in the Top Gun Maverick review. Kelly McGillis is a huge character in this movie who is not mentioned in the sequel. We touch base on all these characters from the first Top Gun. It's like she never existed.
Right. And I'd forgotten that, at the end of Top Gun, they end up together because he becomes an instructor, and they repeat the whole flirty exchange they have when they first meet at the bar. And we assume that he ends up with her at the end of the first Top Gun, but no, he then hooks up with the Admiral's daughter, who was mentioned fleetingly a couple of times, Penny Benjamin, which again, doing the math, was she 17? How old is Jennifer Connelly supposed to have been when she was the
and Miles
daughter?
Teller were in the same time anomaly?
But this is predominantly in pop culture, the archetypal Tom Cruise role, right?
Yeah. And he's such a baby in this movie.
His face is so smooth, yes. And but the thing where he comes in and he's the arrogant hot shot, and then he has to have his comeuppance, and then he has to build himself back up again, doing things the right way. That's pretty much every important Tom Cruise character ever. It's definitely risky business.
Rain Man.
It's he comes in swaggering, and then has to learn his lesson.
Money.
Totally, all of them. Magnolia.
Yeah, true. I mean, it is interesting to go back, and because I had not watched this in decades, and sort of just look at the evolution of Tom Cruise. And what's weird is you kind of realize that in this movie, all of his Tom Cruise-isms feel very spontaneous and organic. And now it kind of feels like he's performing them. You know what I mean? There's something almost And I'm not even talking about like, when you talk about aging actors and what do they do to their face and blah, blah, blah. Like, I have no idea and I don't care. There's something very Baby Jane Hudson about how he continues to try and summon that 1986 energy in 2022. Rather than sort of settle into more of a, eminence grise kind of thing. Like, he's still bringing that, the boyish, puckish charm. And so that's a little weird, but in 86, it was totally natural. And you see why this is the movie that made him a megastar. That's
really interesting. Yeah. Because he's so proud of the fact that he's doing his own stunts. He's doing all of his own running, there's
all that running.
And he even jokes about that. That's like on his Twitter bio, like running in movies since 1981. Like, he knows that we laugh about this. But yeah, why does he keep clinging to that? I guess because even though he, as you pointed out in, I think, our previous review, he used all of his clout to go work with really interesting directors. There is still like that laser-like focus of the through line of the movie star version of himself that he wants to put out to the world. And so he does do his own stunts. He does work the red carpet and shake every single hand and remember every single person's name and play that game. But yeah, here it all did seem very exciting. Is this a good movie? Is Top Gun good?
I don't know. I don't think it is, but it is. It's a spectacle, it definitely, like, Mark Harris has a great sort of takedown where he talks about how it's basically, this is the movie that, like, the generation that grew up on video games and music videos responded to, because it cuts out all the like building blocks and just goes right to the sensations. If you want an idea of like what was the Reagan era like and how did it manifest in movies, this is one of the first ones you go to,
because it is so rah-rah. It is so USA.
It's so rah-rah. Like, like, as opposed to the new movie where they didn't want to say what country they're invading. Like, here's like, we're going toe-to-toe with the Russians and we're blasting them out of the sky. And is that going to start World War III? Oop, not our problem, But yeah, this movie is such a recruitment ad. And it literally was. I mean, I think you would hear for decades after about like people who joined the Navy because they saw Top Gun.
Was this a good movie? I just recall the joy of being swept away by it and just the fun of it. But yeah, looking back now and seeing how much more high-tech Top Gun Maverick is now 36 years later, like, Top Gun looks really cheesy in retrospect.
And I mean, there's a real hackiness to it. I mean, like, as a 19-year-old, I thought the sex scene between Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis was pretty hot, but then I hadn't really had sex yet. And looking at it now, it's just kind of ridiculous.
Well, it's very of that era, like 80s kind of erotic looking with like the blue lighting and they're silhouetted, right? Like, he leads with his tongue when he kisses her. Like, you can like see his tongue first. And yeah, they don't have a whole lot of chemistry, but like they fake it with mood and with that song. And
but she, I think, is gorgeous in this movie and stunning, like smart and magnetic and all this stuff. And so it really pisses me off that they just erased this character from the franchise.
She has amazing hair in this movie. And yeah, and at first she is like tough and smart and as smart as everybody in that room and as capable, but as it goes along, it's not so much about her and her career as it is like
her boosterism.
If I'm here if you want to talk, if you need anything, and she becomes the girl. Yeah, this was a trip to watch. It's on Netflix until the end of the May 31st. So if you want to watch it before you see Top Gun Maverick or after you see Top Gun Maverick, it is out there for about another week. This won an Oscar for Take My Breath Away, which Giorgio Moroder co-wrote.
Yes.
And it was nominated for sound and for editing and for sound effects editing and did not win. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's a lot that's impressive about it as a technical piece, and if you like Tony Scott's brand of perfume ad razzle dazzle, you definitely get that here. But yeah, I don't think it's a very good movie.
And young Meg Ryan.
Young,
adorable, cute Meg Ryan. All right, let's know what you guys think. If you see Top Gun again, if you see Top Gun Maverick, chime in with your thoughts. We would love to hear them.